Welcome back to the Home of Horror podcast.
What is cracking?
Must be a mutation, a freak of nature. The stories of the brutal murder.
Less is more. You want more brutality. I like the fog, I like the mist, I like both of them.
I'm not asking if you like both of them, dude.
Surely I made enough noise to awaken the dead.
And welcome back to the Home of Horror podcast. I'm your host, John. This is my co-host, Matt. Matt, say hi.
What is cracking?
We got a doozy for you, folks.
Always a doozy.
Always a doozy, man. We are continuing our Hatchet series today.
Love
Part 3. 2000.
Can't do that. You cannot do that. You can't do that symbol with the 3.
It's not allowed.
Unless you're Steph Curry.
True. Continuing the Hatchet series. It's been a minute. We had VHS Mikey on for episode 21. It was a great episode. If you haven't checked it out, go check out episode 21 now. Great episode.
He's a character.
Worth watching in video because his setup's dope.
Yeah.
You get to see everything. So make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. If not, all our audio listeners, Spotify, Amazon, Google, Buzzsprout, all the big ones there. How we doing, man?
I'm doing good. I just want to start off by saying, may the power of Christ compel you. I didn't say it at the end of the last episode.
You did not.
It's been bugging me. It's been rubbing me the wrong way. We might have had a few drinks on the last podcast.
Very true.
And then we had lots of drinks after.
Because we were filming our short film and we had a scene that kind of required
us to be shit-faced drunk.
Kind of a party montage scene, so it was kind of like we had to do it, I feel like.
Right. Because we have not faked any alcohol consumption in that movie in any way, shape, or form.
Nor have we on the podcast.
Right.
Which I think everybody could attest to.
We like to keep things, copacetic that way. So
yeah, and we got pretty saucy
toasty,
last time.
A little toasty.
Today, not so much. It's a beautiful Sunday afternoon. Doing our tequila, doing our beer, keeping it sane.
We'll see.
It's a long show.
It's a long show.
Yeah, man. Hatchet 3.
I'm excited.
Very excited.
I want to jump in immediately and just say, I recently watched Nightmare on Elm Street, watched all of them.
Yeah.
I've always liked them, growing up.
Shout out Freddy Krueger. Freddy Kruegs, wearing the shirt right now.
I didn't even notice it, to be honest
killing
with
it.
you. But I've recently watched all of it. Give me Victor Crowley over Freddy Krueger.
Oh, dude.
And I know that's not going to go over well.
Nope.
It's an unpopular opinion.
I agree, but I agree with you.
But give me Victor Crowley over some of the Friday the 13th as well.
Yeah.
Like, especially 1 and 2.
And 2, for definitely over those two.
I mean,
3 and 4 are really, really good.
Halloween, no.
No.
Give me Michael Myers.
Of course.
I mean, he's the man.
Top dog.
Chucky. I'll take Chucky.
But I'm so mad that there's not like more Victor Crowley shit out there.
Yeah, this one really is cult.
Oh yeah, this one's
good. You know what I mean?
And it has now we'll start with this. We don't know the budget of this movie. We looked for it. It's not available in a lot of places. Now I'm sure if we dug real deep, we could probably find some sort of numbers here of what it made and what it cost to make. But to me, this movie felt out of the other one, like with all the other ones, it felt like a big budget film.
Yeah, and I thought it was like some of the worst acting in the series to this point.
Yeah, well, a lot more people.
And I think they did that. You know what I mean? It's because it's supposed to be that quirky type of...
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? And that's what they've had through the first 2 anyways. But the acting in this one, the sheriff or whatever, he's a terrible
He's not
actor.
Great. But there are some actors that I love in this movie. There's some funny, like Schneiderman. Dude, I love Schneiderman. He's the dude that comes out with the bazooka pretty much. Oh man,
he's hilarious.
Dude, he has some great lines, and I understand why you kill him off when you did, but like I wish he would have like survived so we could have got him for like, why isn't that guy in more like horror movies, especially slashers?
Right.
I mean, not that a lot are coming out at this time. This is 2013, like we said. But oh my God, hilarious, dude.
He's funny. He's a funny dude.
And he's that character that knows like right off the bat that like this is his
we're all gonna die.
This is his
We're all
woods.
gonna
Like,
die out here. And then he's like trying to explain to that girl in the beginning, like he's like, Victor Crowley.
Yeah, yeah.
And she's like, what? I'm new here. And he's like, starts telling her, and the guy's like, come on, dickhead, or something. Let's go.
Yeah.
You know?
Who is actually, that girl is, because she's a transfer from Arizona, I think, in the movie.
Yeah.
That's Adam Green's, the director's wife.
Oh, really?
Ex-wife now. They divorced in 2014. But she was in a lot of his other films, Digging Up the Marrow. She's in Frozen at one point.
She is?
Yeah. I think she's just like I think she's one of the workers or something like that.
Huh.
Yeah. You wouldn't really notice her, but she's in a movie called Spiral that he did as well with, what's his name there, that played Ben in the first one, Joel David Moore.
Spiral. Isn't that the name of the new fucking Saw movie?
It is, yes. So
I'm pumped about that.
Yeah,
too.
Spiral was good though. It was about like an artist who you'd have to see it, but it was one of his earlier films. It was really good.
Yeah,
she's in that. So she's in a lot of his work up until obviously 2014. They broke up. I think they ended on good terms, but like
probably not gonna see her in any of his movies.
No, because I really think she was in Digging Up the Marrow, which I think came after this film. Yeah. So I think they stayed on good terms. I don't think they have any kids or anything. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah. But I know that they were together during this movie. Then obviously you have some other big. Derek Mears is the SWAT team leader. Yeah. He was Jason at one point, just like fucking what's his name here? Crowley.
Kane
Hodder. Yeah.
Yeah, and you get fucking JP coming back.
Yes.
In that quick fucking scene. I know I'm just jumping way ahead here, but he's like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's
it's hilarious, too.
So they do bring back some of the throwback type of shit.
Yeah, and
you have to remember this is over, what, a 3-day period?
Yeah, 3-day period. And even since the last one ended, it's really only been like 2.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So he's still obviously alive. It makes sense. It's a funny thing to throw in there that he would still be alive.
Right.
He'd be starving and loss of blood at this point, but it's just a cool little thing to throw in there, especially that he got him back. You know what I mean? And then, like I said, Schneiderman, man. So fucking good, dude. When he's like walking through and because you remember throughout this whole movie, all the body count. First of all, you get way more kills in this movie than we've got in the last 2. The body count ups every single movie, but all the bodies are still in the swamp. Yeah, right.
You got testicles hanging from the fucking trees.
See, this is somebody's balls. Balls aren't supposed to be hanging from trees. Right. And that guy pukes in the background. Yeah, that guy knows what's up.
And then you got the SWAT guy. He's like touching him. He's like, oh.
Yeah. Weird.
That guy's a total dick face too.
Of course.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Like a total dick. He almost reminds me of like the fucking big fucking goon from like House of a Thousand Corpses, or you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like Tiny.
But he's not.
Yeah, that's Derek Mears. He was big. He was Jason as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so obviously he's thrown in, and I love that in the movie you get this like showdown between. It's going to be like this big showdown, like in Hatchet 2. You get it with, I can't remember his name, but he played Leatherface in like Texas Chainsaw Massacre 4 or something,
right.
and they
cuts the top of
it.
They bring that back to the head. You know what I mean?
And
so
they kind of have a showdown in that one, and then this one he pairs up with Derek Mears, and he's like, "Let's do this, bitch!" And then he just immediately rips his fucking spine out.
Yeah, his whole fucking skull and everything. Yeah. You like see his neck. That's a great kill.
Oh yeah, and there's a lot. I usually like for the first 2 episodes, I wrote down the kill count and like the kills, and this one I couldn't keep track. I mean, people were getting beheaded left and right, and like because obviously we have a whole SWAT team, we have a whole paramedics, first responders team, we have the sheriff's office team, like. Too many to keep count, and like obviously there's some. You get the belt sander in there, of course.
Oh yeah,
a couple kills with that.
And the chainsaw at the beginning. That's not like I hate to harp on this thing. Like going back to the nail guns and shit. It's not how chainsaws work.
Yeah, I know.
I just hate it. I know why they do it.
Yeah, of course.
But good God, give me something that would actually happen.
Yeah, I
like
know.
You know what I mean. Like, and Adam Green is not a stupid man.
No.
I know it's shock factor. I know that big chainsaw had to come back and play, and immediately they bring it back.
Yeah. And it actually cuts Crowley in half.
It cuts Crowley in half.
Yeah.
You know, but God,
I know.
I hate it. Who's pulling the trigger on that fucking thing?
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of like he just like sits on it and it like clicks on.
Right, and then as soon as it's done cutting through him, it shuts off.
Yeah, it's as if it's on and the chain's going, but you need to hit the trigger in order for that thing to rev up.
Right. Anybody who's used a chainsaw.
So like it's kind of like use your imagination, and maybe somehow he's like it's sinking in the mud, and it's kind of.
If Crowley brings out a fucking nail gun and starts shooting people with it, I will fucking lose my mind. I will. But getting back to my original point, dude, I would put Crowley up against almost any other slasher. Maybe not Leatherface, maybe not Ghostface.
Yeah, well, especially with like when it comes to
Ghostface, we've talked about it. It's not really
one person.
It's not one person.
No.
It's more the symbol of Ghostface.
Exactly.
But I think he's better than Freddy Krueger.
Yeah,
I really do.
Well, the problem with Freddy
having just watched them recently.
Yeah, and the problem with Freddy too is like he's an actual character. Like,
don't get me wrong,
he talks a lot. He's great, absolutely. And obviously the movies are really creative.
Yeah,
like obviously just his whole story of coming through people's nightmares and stuff like that is awesome. So like better storyline for sure, but like as far as like Victor Crowley is more of a classic slasher. It's almost hard to put Freddy as a slasher.
Right.
He's more of like this supernatural.
Yeah.
And I know that Victor's like a ghost and he's a repeater they call it, but he has that feel of he's large and in charge, right? Doesn't talk a lot. The only thing he says is daddy. Right. Every once in a while.
Which is gay as shit. I mean, honestly.
Daddy.
It's so gay. Yeah. It's so gay.
But yeah, he has more of that, he's big, deformed, you know what I mean? He's up there with like as far as slashers go with like Freddy Krueger and not Ghostface, but Leatherface, stuff like that. So he has like he has more of a feel of a slasher than Freddy does for sure. But yeah, we get a lot of kills in this movie, dude. People just getting lit up left and right.
You knew it was going to happen, too, when they send that many people out into the woods.
And I just love that everybody's like, it's like obviously at the beginning, Danielle Harris gets caught, or she goes into the police station and she's like, I killed him. And they're thinking this whole time that it's her that did it. And it's like, once you get out there, it's like, there's bodies everywhere. Like, could
and the
one
way
woman
it's done,
do this?
And the way it's done.
Yeah, just brutal fashion.
Right. I mean, not saying that there's never been brutal women out there. Look at Lorraine Bobbitt. Cut her fucking husband's dick off with a fucking...
Yeah, brutal for sure.
With a fucking carving knife.
But like to take on all these people who are like SWAT team members and people who are big, bounty hunters in the second one,
Tony Todd.
Yeah, exactly.
Who's another just giant of a man, you know what I mean? He is.
Yeah, and so there's a big kill count. I couldn't keep track of it. I think some of my favorite kills are obviously the belt sander is always one of my favorites.
You do love the belt sander.
I do love it. I also love...
I love the fact that they say the gas-powered belt sander.
Yeah.
They make it a point to kind of correct,
some
of the things in the past, because we've talked about it. The first ones. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. And of course, Perry Shen's in it again, which is hilarious, dude.
And no, he's like his most low-key role in this one, too.
Yeah.
Honestly, his most low-key role. But as soon as you see him, it just brings a smile to your face. You're like, this fucking guy.
And he even has the same line that the original two characters did. He goes, it's hilarious. Like he says it again. I laughed so hard. Great to bring him back because it's obviously been like a constant.
Right, the continuity of it.
At this point, it's like the humor that you have to bring back to the Hatchet series. A lot of other stuff they brought back too. I mean, we see when Danielle Harris goes in the jail.
In the shower.
In there. Adam Green's in there. Wow. Adam Green. You see Adam Green with the marijuana necklace.
And he's just sitting in the cell,
He's like, I'm never going back to Mardi Gras ever. Or he's like, he says, I should have gone on the ghost tour. That's what he said, like from the first one, because he never did. He never made it. So we see that character again, and that's how you realize, like, oh yeah, it's Mardi Gras. Like, it's over 3 or 4 days. Like, he's still out there.
Right.
And I thought that was funny because he gets put in a jail cell next to Danielle Harris's character here, Mary Beth. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you noticed this, but in her cell, when she's sitting there, there's the Newberry Comics guy graffitied on the side of the cell. I was like, oh, he's bringing it back again. That's hilarious, dude.
Dude, do you think it's surprising that we haven't seen her tits in this movie? Because she's done it in the past with Rob Zombie. She's, and in some of the other movies she's done when she was younger.
Yeah.
I mean, is it...
Yeah, you get like the side shot,
you get the side, you get the profile of it, but...
Yeah.
Because I hadn't seen this one. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I've been watching them as
exactly.
we go.
Which I think is great because I've seen all of them, but like,
right.
You might catch some shit that I'm not catching, and you're seeing them kind of, as you go, which is cool.
Yeah. Great movies, though.
Yeah.
Love these.
Yeah.
I love them. And like, I hate to keep going back to it, but like I would almost put Victor Crowley up against any slasher.
Yeah.
Especially body count wise.
Body count for sure.
I mean, goodness
with
gracious.
only 4 movies, when all these other slashers have
10, 11
10 movies,
right?
like, come on, man,
it's ridiculous.
I mean, what does Freddy have? Like 8 movies?
Yeah, I think 8, and then you get like Freddy vs. Jason.
Yeah, then you get the remake and whatever. But like,
remake just recently, 10-year anniversary? I want to say I saw.
And it was terrible. It was such a bad remake, dude. Freddy looked horrible.
Yeah, it didn't look like Freddy.
No.
Get me Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I'd like to see that.
I'd be down with it.
I would definitely like to see that.
I'd be down with it.
But so we get that. I thought this was cool. I thought this was hilarious too. So obviously Adam Green is his little side character that we have in there, and he's in the. Let's
get our shot.
Do a little shot in. Hey,
cheers.
Cheers. If you have one at home, do it up.
If you're driving, do not do it.
Do not do it.
I mean, one won't hurt you. You get over that line.
Go ahead and pull over.
Right. Go. You got a flask you ride around with? Sure.
I mean, let's be honest. If you got a bottle of tequila in the car with you, you're probably a tequila drinker, right?
Right. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
So, back to the cell, though. So you have Adam Green in one cell. You have Mary Beth, Daniel Harris in the other cell. Mm-hmm. And the sheriff comes to her and she's like, it's Victor Crowley that did it. Obviously, he doesn't want to believe this.
Right.
And he's saying, so you're telling me that you went out into the woods for a boat tour to find your daddy and brother.
You white trash,
everybody got massacred. And then you go back the next day and bring a bunch more people in there and they all get massacred? And he's like, that's some really bad storytelling right there. And then it pans to Adam Green and he looks up and he's like, oh, just like a shot at himself. Like, oh shit, I made the same movie twice, kind of. You know what I mean? Which I thought was hilarious. Like, just a little shot at himself.
It's great.
So you get his character back in, which I just think is really cool.
What did you think about the reporter aspect of it? I liked it, like where she had kind of thrown
with
her
Caroline
career,
Williams,
right? Where she had kind of thrown her career away.
Yeah, and she's divorced with the sheriff.
The sheriff, right?
Yeah, you obviously need that character to bring. She obviously has the idea,
right? And she has some background that maybe other people didn't know.
Yeah.
So that's the way you kind of bring somebody else into it that knows what's going on.
Yeah.
Without explaining it too heavily.
Yeah, and I think
you know what I mean.
And I think Adam Green wanted to put Caroline Williams in there because I mean she's a huge actor too.
Right.
She was in some of the Texas Chainsaw Massacres when she was younger.
Right.
She used to be a scream queen back in the day. So I mean. She was
I do love that he does that too. He brings in all these characters.
And like you don't want to say like washed up characters, but like old legends of like horror. You know what I mean? Like bring them back in, give them these new roles. Like where these are mostly actors that are traveling around, like and didn't get other roles.
Yeah, you know? and I want to say like my favorite. I don't want to sound I don't want to say that. I guess. Well, I do want to say it. Sid Haig, when he comes into this, the funniest fucking moment of the movie when he's like, I can't even understand you, you're mumbling, and the guy's like, what are you talking about? He's like, what? He's like, what? And then he says something else, like, I can't
what does he say though? It's so funny. He says something with an F, and it's like
forget about it or something. He's like, you just call me a faggot?
He's like, faggot? I ain't no faggot. And it's like this racist old redneck white guy that's like lives in the woods.
That's why I almost hate to say that's the funniest moment. But dude,
he's so good. He's so good. Even when they're both leaving, he's like, pow, yeah, gotcha.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like it's just he obviously put that in because like it's a Sid Haig moment. You know?
Absolutely.
And it was such a good idea to put him in. He's supposed to be I think it's Thomas Crowley's brother, right? Or something.
Right.
Because he has his ashes. Great character to throw in there. He's hilarious.
Like, I just talked to you. And she's like, that was 10 years ago or something like that. He's like, what?
Yeah, and it's a great acting interaction between this black sheriff and Sid Haig. Like, it's a good scene. Like, it's a great acting scene. It's really good, which we don't get a lot of great acting in this movie.
No, you don't.
But those little humorous scenes where, like, brings you to, like, the Louisiana, like...
I was almost waiting for him to take out a fucking piss jar and stuff. You know what I mean? It's almost that. It's almost that same type of...
Yeah, it's like really backwoods, hillbilly, redneck guy from Louisiana. Yeah. And, like, you got to have one of those characters in there. Being down south like that, right? Like, very good interaction between those two. Sid Haig's hilarious. I think he says that the guy's mumbling like 100 times.
Yeah. What?
He's like, "Did you steal something?"
You've been watching me the whole time.
He's like, "You thief."
Dude, it's so funny.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a great scene, dude. And awesome to put him in there. And him and Caroline Williams have acted together, too, in a movie called Hanukkah. I can't remember when that movie came out. It was actually more recently, obviously, before Sid had passed. But
how long's he been gone? A couple years now? 2 or 3 years?
Maybe 2 years, yeah.
Because it was just before...
Well, it was like during Three from Hell, right?
Was released.
Yeah. So, yeah.
And that dude, I know we're jumping a little bit off topic here, but dude, Three from Hell would have been so much better
if you kept him. Yeah. And I understand you kind of couldn't.
Right. I understand that he was so sick and he just couldn't do it at that point. You get that shot of him in the beginning and he looked awful.
Yeah,
he didn't look good, no. And he didn't even really look good in this movie. I mean, let's be honest.
No. Well, he's getting up there in age,
right?
You know
I get that, but like he's
got the scar, he's got the charred up face and shit. You know, he has that horror look, which is dope.
Oh, absolutely, and he's always had it.
Yeah,
I mean that's why he was cast the way he was, and he's a typecast. Of course, you know what I mean. So,
yeah, but great to bring him in.
Yeah, great, and like. It's almost a damn shame they didn't do more with him. You know what I mean? Like
I know, like, and you wonder, like, with the budget, if these actors are still asking for a decent amount of money for cameos. Or
see, I would almost think they're getting paid. I mean, they're not doing this out of the goodness, or most of them. I wouldn't say are doing it out of the goodness of their
heart.
heart.
they're definitely getting paid a decent, like,
but you never know. We were just talking about another movie that we may talk about soon, where there was a big star who
just randomly did it.
Who said he'd do it as long as you paid for his makeup artist.
Yeah, because he's friends with the director. Like,
right.
Just that. So, and it wasn't like a big part. It was kind of like these smaller parts, like Sid Haig.
And he was the biggest name in that movie.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, he was. Yeah, you have some other names, but
of course,
he was the man.
Yeah.
You know. And for him to do that for free, I'm sure the other people in that movie weren't doing anything for free.
Oh no,
but so I think you might run across some of these guys who, if you meet them at a Comic-Con, or I have just a short little bit of dialogue I'd like you to read, or it's going to take a day. Yeah. We can shoot this in a day. Not even.
I'm sure most of them did. Even Derek Mears isn't in. He has a couple scenes. In the, it's like right dead in the middle of the whole plot of the movie.
Right.
But like you could shoot that in a day for sure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You
it's
can
mostly
work
guns blazing.
Right. You can work around other people's schedules and okay, we're going to shoot these scenes this day just so we can get this person in and out of here, get them back on a plane and get them back to
exactly.
Life. So I'd almost like to know. I would almost like to know what some of these guys get if it's.
Well, that's what it would have been nice to know with the budget.
Right.
You know?
To see where it really.
To see where. Because like we said about the other movie that I don't want to name yet because we might be talking about it, but a $2.7 million budget of a movie, you really only need $400,000 in equity because the rest is coming from pre-sales and foreign sales.
Right.
So like, even though the budget for the movie is $2.7 million, you might be only spending $500,000 on the actual movie.
Absolutely, yeah.
So it's interesting to see how many, because obviously like Danielle Harris is getting paid a lot of money to do that movie.
She's the
and then Caroline Williams, because she's in the movie along with she's in every scene with Danielle Harris, So
and you don't get a lot of Danielle Harris in this movie. I mean, I would
it's say like a big setup,
right? It's all a big setup, which is unfortunate. I love Danielle Harris.
Yeah, she's great. She's not in the action as much. Obviously. Exactly. She's mostly in the back of a cop car the whole time, or in a cell. Yeah,
right. I mean, you get her beginning and the end.
Yes.
As far as out on the bayou and all that shit.
And the beginning is literally the second where Hatchet 2 ended, you're getting the next one.
And I love it. And I do love that way he does that with the movies.
Yeah,
even at the end of Hatchet 1.
It's just that constant.
Hatchet 2 picks up.
You know what you're going to get every time.
That way you're not going, well, how far away? Has this been weeks? Has this been a year? Has this been... No.
It's like, no, it's been right now.
It's... If you finished Hatchet 2 and you put in Hatchet 3, it's right there. Yeah,
right? If you got no previews or even a menu page, like if this was VCR style, VHS style, it would just pick right up.
Right.
But again, you don't even get great acting from Danielle Harris in this movie.
No.
She puts on a really big Southern accent, even more so than she did on the last one. Mm-hmm. Still very inconsistent with that character as far as the first Mary... Like... Can you imagine? Like, I'm so glad Danielle Harris is Mary Beth.
Me too.
Like, could you imagine doing this many 3 Hatchet movies with the other girl?
It probably wouldn't last. and you wouldn't. I don't know.
Well,
the other girl wasn't bad.
No, she wasn't bad, but she didn't
Danielle
didn't have the foul mouth that Danielle Harris had. Like
Right,
that one
you can't
scene, she's like, "Why don't
right.
I put your own fist in your ass or some
Right.
shit?" You know what I mean? Like she has a foul mouth.
And I couldn't see that character.
Yeah.
Doing that or
'Cause in
saying
the first
that,
one,
because
she's like-
it's not believable.
She's more innocent in the
Yes,
first one.
she
She's
is.
like a really like the typical style of scream queen, where she's like kind of like, "Oh no, like I'm here to find my dad and shit," but like,
right, my dad and brother, right?
yeah, but it's not like. Then you get Danielle Harris, and it's like, "Fuck you, fist your own ass. You're a piece of shit.
Yeah,
foul mouth."
And could you imagine the original being as badass as far as picking up a gun, shooting it, and having it believable?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, when she's going through the woods at the beginning of this, when she finds the gun and she cocks it. Oh, there's nothing.
Yeah.
So it's almost come to that point where it's, you know, like.
It's not like the girly girl scene
I don't know
either.
how to explain it, because in some movies you have that character arc where they learn to do all this stuff. You know what I mean? If you have several movies, they learn through each movie. They get a little better. This is over a 2 or 3 day fucking period. This person should not be
exactly like she has the southern like hillbilly girl feel,
Yes.
and the first one like she was
Tomboy
Don't get me, she was
type.
fine, but like she was more of the Missy Priss scream queen. She didn't feel like the character she was playing didn't feel like I'm the daughter and sister of these two gator hunters.
right, white trash, as the reporter says.
Exactly.
You're white trash, darling.
Yeah, exactly. They're gonna throw you. They're gonna give you the chair.
Right,
and
they're gonna
shit,
give
or-
you the fucking chair. Your brother was white trash.
Yeah.
Your father was white trash.
Like
and
no one gives a shit about.
And now
you.
you're coming at everybody with this story about Victor Crowley. You're white trash too.
Yeah, they don't even say
You know?
chair. Actually, she said she's gonna give her an injection of something. It's
Yeah.
like too much Advil or something. They're
Yeah.
gonna give you the overdose injection or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's true. Like,
Lethal injection. Yeah.
but she has the feel of that character just more.
Right.
She's more like, even at the end of the film, we get it where she's caulking and she's like, "Fucking do it already, come back!" Like she knows he's gonna come back, right? And it's like at this point he's like the shell of himself, Victor.
Right.
He's like this little weird skinny skeleton.
Right.
The meat's melting off his bone.
Right.
It reminded me of Evil Dead a little bit, where like they did the reverse claymation of him like melting down. You know what I mean? And she's caulking that. You know, I don't even know I don't know if it's just a.
Would you put Evil Dead above this franchise?
For me personally,
For you
no.
personally, me either.
And I love Evil Dead.
I don't.
I
So,
know,
like,
but I love.
I know
Evil
you
Dead.
love Evil Dead.
And,
That's why I
like,
kind of wanted
but
to
I
get
don't.
there.
I don't. Hatchet is one of the movies that got me. Like, I grew up loving horror movies.
Absolutely, but different horror.
Yeah,
It wasn't so much the slasher gore as much.
No,
probably.
like I didn't grow up loving Halloween when I was a kid.
See,
I'm
me
talking when
either.
I was a kid. Like
Me either.
the movies that got me into horror were brutal movies, like Silence of the Lambs,
Right.
Children of the Corn,
Right, or even Stephen King.
Stephen King
You know,
movies. Well, yeah, with Children of the Corn, stuff like that. You know what I mean?
absolutely,
Like, and those movies I saw and got me. Like, it was in Child's Play as well, but they were more of like I was traumatized by them,
Right.
and then like I couldn't get it out of my head.
Right.
Like, it was one of those things, I think, which most people, I don't think any kid goes into a horror movie and just like loves it like that. It's more of like they get a little traumatized by it. Like they can't sleep
if
at
you
night.
don't get traumatized by a
That's what
horror
I'm saying.
movie as
But,
a kid,
but it's like
it
a
does-
weird shock thing where you're like, oh, there's something, like I felt something.
Right.
You know?
Well,
like you feel alive. You know what I
know,
mean? It's weird. Like when I saw Child's Play, I was like looking in my closet, like terrified. Like
my brother had the Chucky doll.
Really?
Growing
Yeah,
up,
that's
and
terrifying.
I hated it.
I mean, that's
if that was
terrifying.
around, I was
Yeah,
not sleeping.
yeah.
Also, another doll that scared the fucking shit out of me growing up. You might be too young. No.
I'm only a year.
Teddy
year out of
Ruxpin.
year. Oh yeah, of
You
course.
remember Teddy Ruxpin?
Oh yeah, creepy
I
because it
think-
actually talked and shit, right?
Oh yeah, you put the tape in the stomach and the eyes would start
Yeah,
blinking
yeah,
and it would
yeah.
start fucking moving around.
Yeah.
That fucking thing terrified
Yeah,
me.
but that was the thing. Like
Terrified me.
with Child's Play, that made everything that I had as a doll terrifying.
Right.
It wasn't just Chucky. It was more of like, oh, could these things come to life? It's like a twisted Toy Story, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, where I grew up loving Toy Story, but then you see this movie and you're like, oh, they could be bad too, you know?
Right.
Like, I had like glowworms and shit. Do you remember those?
I remember
but even those, I was just like, dude, anything too interactive, I'm not down with right now, right?
Right.
And then I got into like The Sixth Sense came out, and I saw that, and I was a little bit older where I was like, oh, this
more
is
psychological type of shit.
But it was scary, but I was like intrigued by the story. And then obviously I saw The Exorcist when I was like 13, 14. Then that was like...
I saw it when I was younger, way younger, and that it just terrified me. That movie terrified me, and that's why I love it to this day. But like, there's certain movies when you watch when you're a kid. And the thing is, when I originally saw The Exorcist, I remember I watched it with my dad.
Yeah.
And I wasn't old enough to understand
like what's going on.
What the overall, you know,
like demonic
possession with the church, with what exorcism really was.
Yeah.
I just see her out there spinning her head.
And like horrible, puking, like graphic scenes.
Sticking her mother's face in her.
And she's a young girl, like you're a young boy, you know what I mean? Like it's
like this is something
like you're vulnerable.
Felt so real to me.
Yeah.
You know.
And it would have been back then. I mean, like 90s. I mean, I was born in 89, you were what, 87, 88?
88, yeah.
So like same time frame where even if you watch this in the late 90s, it's like terrifying.
Oh yeah.
But I didn't see Exorcist until, you know, probably 03. 02.
Did you watch it with your parents or
no, me and my buddy.
Yeah.
And it was like traumatizing. And then it was one of those things where it was so scary to me that I just kept renting it from Hollywood Video. Like
I miss it.
And then I would keep it for like a year and have like all these late fees, you know what I mean?
Right.
But a lot of those movies, but it was never slasher movies that came up.
See, I was never big into the slashers either. I'm still not huge into the slashers.
Yeah. Well, when you're a kid, those feel a little more boring, I feel like, because like the action, or not, I shouldn't say action, but like the kills are few and far between with a lot of them,
especially the older ones.
Yeah, and like
even the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, very few and far between,
and you don't see a whole lot. There's not visual, you know, as far as visual aesthetics, you don't see what you would now.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Or you don't see what you see in later ones.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or the remakes or whatever. Because everybody has this hunger now. Everybody wants more gore, more blood, more tits, more, you know what I mean? More in your face. And you didn't see that back then. And probably because the rating system, you couldn't go out and do that.
No.
You know what I mean? It would have fucking, and it was still considered one of the fucking scariest movies, you know?
Oh yeah.
You know, so.
But it was like and it just comes to the fact that like I wasn't exposed to it. Like my parents didn't watch a bunch of slasher movies.
Right.
They liked like Silence of the Lambs and like all those movies. And then I saw The Sixth Sense because of my sister, and Child's Play because of my stepdad's daughter, you know, my sister-in-law, that type of thing. But I didn't grow up loving the slasher movies. Like, so by the time I was in high school, it was like I got into like when The Ring came out, The Grudge.
The Ring, I loved The Ring.
Yeah,
I've never seen The Grudge.
The Grudge is great.
I've
the
never
first
seen
one
The Grudge.
I love, man. But I loved those movies, so I didn't get into slasher. Obviously, I had seen some Nightmare on Elm Street movies, and I saw Halloween, but like at that point, I'm like a young teenager, and I'm like not paying attention. You know.
Halloween was always one of those things where you go out trick-or-treating as a kid.
Exactly.
And then you get home and you put on TBS and you put your PJs on.
And you like see it and you're
you
like,
get some popcorn and...
But like I'm not paying attention enough.
Exactly.
It wasn't until I really got back into horror that I started to really appreciate the slasher genre. Mm-hmm. So all through so as a kid, those movies I loved, right? Mm-hmm. And then because they traumatized me, and then in so this is back to the original question anyway.
Right.
So
we've gone a long way.
Yeah. We were comparing Evil Dead to
yes. No.
So when I was in high school, all those big movies came out: The Ring, The Grudge, Signs, The Sixth Sense. All those.
You
movies.
Love Signs.
I love Signs, dude. I love Signs. But all those movies were
favorite
coming out.
Alien movie? Is that your favorite?
That and The Fourth Kind, probably.
See,
I really like The Fourth Kind.
I love the Alien.
Well,
that's a whole different thing. I get that.
Those are like above and beyond.
Alien is Alien.
Yeah, and that's like intense and brutal horror,
right? And Predator.
But like, I went to see.
Would you consider Predator horror?
more action
Sci-fi.
more action horror to be honest, like because you have the big action star.
Dude,
you know
the original
Predator is great. Yeah, it's so good. It's so
Carl
good.
Weathers, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jesse the Body.
It's like an action monster movie, you know.
Right.
But I wouldn't consider it like an alien.
Right. The muscle
movie.
mass
even
alone.
Even though he is an alien.
Right.
I don't consider it.
That's why I was saying. That's why I brought Predator up, because he is an extraterrestrial.
Yeah. Even though Predator, as far as alien movies goes, it's up there with Alien. Because obviously you get Alien versus Predator,
right? And I've always been an Alien guy, but the original Predator you can't.
It's really good.
You cannot
so
be
good. Schwarzenegger. I mean,
that movie is just.
But Alien is like, and Aliens is like fucking out of this world.
Aliens
terrifying.
Is my favorite.
Like
the
first Alien is like
great,
dude.
They're drinking milk. You can tell because of the consistency.
Just the alien itself is terrifying.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, let's try to get back to Hatchet
I'm
here.
Sorry, yeah, we're going.
So I'm trying to say that like in high school, I was like I saw The Grudge and I saw The Ring like 10 times in theaters. Like I couldn't stop.
Right.
Any M. Night Shyamalan movie that was coming out, I saw 10 times. Like I loved it.
I
like,
know you do.
I really loved the storylines. Like all those movies were coming out and I loved them.
He has a new one coming out too, doesn't he?
Yes, called Older, I think, or Old, or something like that,
Yeah.
or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's about getting older, like really quick on a beach or some shit.
I saw the beach thing.
Yeah. But anyway, like like the 03 to 05 horror, I loved.
Mm-hmm.
And it started from me being young. But then I was absent from horror as far like the Friday the 13th remake came out and I really liked that. But as far as horror went, they started doing the horror comedies like Zombieland and
see, I love
stuff
Zombieland.
like that. Yeah, it's great, but it's not horror.
Right.
Like it's a zombie movie. Yeah. But then I saw Hatchet.
So what are your thoughts on like Dawn of the Dead and
of course,
like
the remake,
not Dawn of the Dead, Shaun of the Dead.
Shaun of the Dead's great. I love Shaun of the Dead.
You get that comedy aspect
exactly, and I love those movies, but they're not like it's not what got me back.
It's not horror.
Yeah,
it's not,
and they're great
to me either.
I always had I've always loved horror. Is what I'm trying to say is I've always loved horror, but once I got out of high school, there wasn't that much good horror coming out. I graduated in 2007. Then there wasn't that much coming out. Mm-hmm. And then I saw the Hatchet movies. Then I started to get into like indie movies.
When was the original? When did the original Hatchet come out?
I think it's like 07.
07.
Yeah, but I didn't see it probably till like 2010.
Yeah.
And like I was watching horror here and there, but nothing new was coming out for horror that much. Like then like The Grudge 2 came out, The Ring 2 came out, and like all those were coming out, which is fine. I loved all those movies too, but I wasn't being introduced to anything, and I wasn't watching older movies.
Right.
And then I watched the Hatchet series. Hatchet 3 was coming out, and I remember, but this was like right when it was announced that it was coming out, and I got introduced to Hatchet and then Hatchet 2, and they reignited like my love to go back and start watching the Halloweens,
right? The
Freddy Krueger, the Nightmare on Elm Street,
right.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yep.
I started going back and watching all these movies that I never, because like when you're in high school, you don't.
So is Victor your favorite slasher?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, yes, I will say yes because of like who he's had.
It's tough though because Michael Myers.
I know. I love Michael Myers, especially when 2018 came out. It like reignited that flame.
Well, I was just gonna say the same.
He's just
thing.
so badass, and then you and it's not just because of that movie. It's you go back and watch the original. And you're like, oh shit!
And
like,
what's coming?
Yeah, exactly.
And what's coming? I mean, I don't know how they're gonna do it because Myers is dead.
Yeah.
I mean.
Here we go with this again.
He burned up in
the house.
So I don't know how they're gonna make another Halloween, but maybe Jamie Lee. Maybe she goes crazy. I don't know.
She becomes him. Well, no, I see your point because and that's like that in every single movie. He should be dead in every single one, right? That's the running joke.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I think I have more respect. Like I put Michael Myers up here, but like as far as like, well, now it's kind of even because like I love watching Halloween.
Me too.
I love watching, but I've also
any Halloween essentially. Even if it's the shitty ones, yeah. I'm like, okay, I'll still put it.
Yeah. Curse of Michael Myers.
Fuck it, I love it.
Like
Halloween,
they do get a little ridiculous towards the end.
Some of them do.
Yeah, when it starts turning into like this cult weird shit. But, and some people like that. That's fine.
Yeah, there's definitely a following.
But I thought 2018 was like
unbelievable.
But anyway, like Victor Crowley in the Hatchet series reignited me as far as horror goes, and to go back and start watching all these older movies and get a taste for that.
And I think as far as like kids coming up now, you get away from the CGI so much. Like,
oh yeah,
you get that practical effect, you get that gore, and you get that fucking. And some of it's so cheesy. Yeah. Even in Hatchet 3, I mean, it's like. You can almost tell it's a spray bottle, like.
Oh, and you can hear it.
It's just like.
Oh yeah, it was just so much blood.
There's so much blood, and it's not real. I mean,
definitely not.
That's not the way it would really happen. But like when he's ripping off the arms of the fucking deputy,
oh yeah,
you know what I mean? It's like. And then you just see the mist coming up. You know what I mean?
And you can see it like kind of like jerk up and like
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But I love that. I love that aspect of it. And like, and since we started this, I hate cheesy shit. I hate the cheesy horror.
You don't like it at all.
I'm not a big B movie guy. Like if I'm gonna sit down and watch a fucking movie, I want to watch a movie that I really enjoy. Yeah, that really absolutely. That keeps my attention. It's
compelling.
That's compelling.
It compels
this movie.
Can't say it yet. Keep going.
But yes, you fucker. Anyways, but like this movie, even though it is a cheesy movie, it is a B movie technically.
Yeah, for sure. There's something to it.
I love it.
Yeah, there's something to it.
I love it, and I'm not a fan of the B movie.
But you are a fan of shock factor.
Yes.
There is that sense there is that feeling to the movie of like you see in a bunch of intestines, you see brains falling out of people's head in this one. If one person gets cut in half and their head just like half their brain just falls out.
And if you're gonna give me a cheesy B movie, then I need the shock factor. And Adam Green knows how to do it.
He definitely knows how to do it.
And he's done that in all of his movies that I've seen.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna say I've seen every Adam Green movie because I haven't, but I've seen quite a few of them.
Like Frozen.
Frozen was really good.
You get more of the story aspect in there.
Yeah, and there's character development there.
I think that should have been more of that should have been a feature. Like
we're gonna have to talk about that one at some point.
Yeah, next winter we'll probably get into that for sure. But like, that's a movie that's like, don't you think that should have been in theaters? Like that.
That one wasn't in theaters.
No, that's not a big Adam Green has never had a movie that's been I'm sure it was in select theaters,
right?
But it's never been you get that big Warner Brothers picked it up. You know what I mean?
Well, no, but you're not ever gonna get a studio like that.
But that's what the Saw movies were. The first Saw movie was two people in a room. It was the same shit. Frozen was three people in the air. You get the same amount of dialogue. Right. Obviously Saw is on a different level. I get that.
I love Saw.
Yeah,
I love the Saw
movies. I rewatched the first one the other day.
So good.
Because my wife had never seen it. It's fucking
I know you were telling me that. And the fact that Jess had never seen that is just, crazy. It blows my fucking
Dude, it's so good. But it's great for me because I get to show them all. Because I own all of them. I'm like, how have we not watched these? I thought she had seen them,
Right. But I will say that she had never seen Rosemary's Baby
It's true.
Until probably last year.
Yeah. There was a lot that I had introduced to her that she hadn't seen, but she's grown an overall love for all of them. But yeah, these the Hatchet movie, especially Hatchet 3. When Hatchet 3 came out, I was like, this is Victor Crowley. He has that one scene, dude, where his house is burning down behind him.
Yeah.
And it falls, and he just kind of looks up, and it's the best Victor Crowley has ever looked, ever. It's a thing of horror beauty, of the way he looks. He's breathing heavy, Kane Hodder just being Kane Hodder, and that shot, if you could screenshot it, is fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
And then he has this, right after that, he kind of turns and looks at his house being burned down. You can tell he's like, fuck this. I'm going all out. You know what I mean? And
where's he going to live now? That's so sad.
It's such a good scene, dude.
That's right. He doesn't have to live anywhere anymore.
No, he doesn't.
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. We do have a Hatchet 4.
Is it a prequel, though? We don't know.
We won't tell you.
We'll discuss. How many people do you think... I know the horror community is, pretty up on all these things.
Yeah.
But... even groups of our friends who appreciate horror or like horror, how many do you think you could ask right now and they could tell you the Hatchet series? I mean, I'm a horror fan. I'm a horror fan.
Yeah.
And I hadn't seen all of them. I'd seen the original and I think I had seen some of 2. You know, when we were talking about doing
Well,
this
me and you
series.
had watching the first Hatchet together because I was like, you got to see it.
Right.
Like, you haven't seen it, and
Right.
you're not a big B movie guy, so you wouldn't like. But this is what I love about horror, is there's always something out there for all of us that we just haven't seen yet.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not like that with anything else. Like, action movies, because here's the thing, like, horror movies have B movies. If you see a B action movie,
No, you're not watching it.
Is anybody, is there, like, I don't even know, I can't name a B action movie, to be honest with you.
I'm sure there are.
Or a B comedy, like Dumb and Dumberer. Like,
yeah,
that's a B comedy, which is horrendous compared to B horror.
Right.
At least with B independent horror movies, you have movies that, like, have been successful when they go to home video or whatever.
Yeah.
So there's just always something out there. What I'm saying is you randomly, except for like some dramas,
right?
But like you randomly get a B genre movie that's not horror, that gets like a really, maybe like like I said, dramas. There's a lot of B movies that come out and they're indie movies that go to like, you know, film festivals and who knows, stuff.
Maybe they'll
hipsters
win.
are like, oh, that was so cute.
Maybe they'll win the best picture. No Man's Land.
Yeah.
Good God.
But like, seriously though,
like honestly, could you imagine a horror movie like that?
No.
I mean,
no.
Come on.
But like, you don't get a B comedy.
That you could literally a horror movie that you could literally make with no budget, with a vehicle.
Yeah. Well, it's more of like it has like a documentary feel. Yes. That's not a documentary, you know.
And that's
very weird.
That type of shit. I feel like that's part of woke culture, and that's part of
but that's
the
also
artsy.
But you don't get that.
Is that the best movie of the year?
No, definitely.
Come on, that's the type of shit. That's artsy. That's the type. I know, and you're an artsy guy. You probably love this.
No, I'm artsy. I like artsy when it comes to horror movies.
Right, but dude, like that type of shit really drives me up a wall because there's so much better things that people spent more time on.
Yeah,
that was probably the third or fourth movie she shot in that year. Yeah, you know what I mean? And she's pumping it out. Frances McDormand.
Yeah, of course.
Great actress. I'm not taking anything away from her.
For sure.
But I'm saying like other movies can be terrible and still get all this acclaim because there's so much.
Parasite.
Right. Oh my god.
Like I liked Parasite.
Yeah,
I did. Did I think it was the the best picture of the year? Definitely not.
No.
Definitely not.
No.
Like Halloween 2018 was way better, dude. But like it's like this weird genre thing where like not everybody's gonna watch horror, and that's why I fucking love it, dude. Because not everybody's gonna see it, and there's shit that I haven't seen that I love. That people are like, "Yo, you haven't seen this? You gotta check it out." And then I check it out, I'm like,
right.
Like when I was a kid, like growing up, like The Faculty came out.
Great movie.
Had never seen it.
Great
and then
movie.
you know, years down the road, I'm like The Faculty, Josh Hartnett. Holy fuck! Like,
there was some stars in that movie. Yeah.
Then you go back and watch Robert Rodriguez. Like, then you go and watch it, and you're like, oh my god, how did I fucking miss this? But it's like I'm almost happy I missed it. Because like now I get to experience now. I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe I missed this. That's how I feel about the Hatchet movies, where like people now, even horror fans, like if you haven't checked it out, go watch it.
You have to check it out.
And obviously, everybody listening to this has watched it.
You would hope,
for the most part.
Spoilers. Victor Crowley's dead, bitch.
Yeah, we got a little bit away from.
But I think it needs to be said. Like, this is part of what
I mean. Victor Crowley, and we've been saying it for this is the third episode we've been saying it. Give Victor Crowley his damn fucking respect.
Yep. And like this is our first series.
I mean, 2013. This movie comes out. 2013. He doesn't get his respect.
Right.
This is a slasher of if you're born in 2008 or 2005 or whatever, this is your man.
Like we've talked about it. He's our slasher.
Yes.
We were born in 88, 89 respectively.
We get a little bit of Ghostface. Like Ghostface is like really our slasher if we're going to get like nostalgic with it. I get
that, but we've gone through that too.
But if you're born like
Ghostface isn't a slasher.
He's not like one. He's not one guy.
Ghostface is a symbol. Mask. He's a symbol. He's a costume. You know what I mean? That's what it is. So
I mean, I fucking love.
I love Scream. We're gonna get into that at some point. But for this to be our first, I mean, this is episode 22.
Yeah.
And we've gotten quite a following now.
Yeah.
This is our first series we've ever done.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a good one.
That should tell you something.
Yeah.
We haven't done Halloween.
Yeah,
we haven't done Scream. We haven't done Freddy Krueger.
We did one Halloween. We did one Texas Chainsaw Massacre. We haven't done any.
We did
Nightmare
House of
on
a
Elm
Thousand
Street.
Corpses.
Yeah.
We didn't do the series.
Yeah, no.
Because Rob Zombie's a big sellout. You know. Go back and listen to that terrible
Rob,
episode.
if you're watching, we love you. Quit putting your wife in every movie.
Right. Oh my God, dude. It's the worst. That is the worst.
But to be completely honest, like especially if you're born in because think about it now, we're getting old now, bro. So if you're born
getting old.
If you're born in 2000,
I'm young at heart, bro.
If you're born in 2000, you're 21 years old right now. This is your slasher.
Yikes.
This is your
Yikes.
man.
You just did make me feel old.
Don't claim.
No, but you could say, because what was Scream, 96, 97?
Yeah, late 90s, but still. Yeah. But that's
so
what I'm saying.
That's still not
Scream
yours.
is really ours. Like we obviously
ours,
got a hint of a Nightmare on Elm Street.
We did.
A hint of Halloween.
Because
the shittier ones.
Because we're still pumping this shit out. Right.
But those are really if you're going to go by year.
If you're going to go by origin or by the original,
like the 70s
OG,
the 70s is Leatherface, Halloween at the end.
Absolutely,
there. 80s is Freddy Krueger. 90s is
Chucky,
Ghostface.
You have Chucky in there, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. You could go with I Know What You Did Last Summer with that killer.
I hated those movies.
You didn't like those? Oh, I love those movies.
I know you do.
I love those movies, man. So good.
You're in love with Jennifer Love Hewitt, though.
I think everybody is, right?
No.
What do you want from us?
Terrible.
What do you want from us? What do you want? We're right here. What do you want?
Oh my God! It's
no,
so
but
bad.
You can even put Sarah Michelle Gellar in there with the Grudge movies and
and she
Buffy. But
I was just gonna say, and she was Buffy too, so
course.
she had a cult following.
But
that's a whole different animal.
Yeah.
If we're talking about Scream Queens, that's a whole different animal.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll take Mia Farrow.
Yeah, Mia Farrow's great, but
she's not a Scream Queen.
No, but it's still not. It's also not your. If we're gonna go, I'm just saying, if you're born in 2000, Victor Crowley's your guy. Get on it. Go watch him. I understand you. I understand. Yeah.
She
for
is.
Sure. Absolutely. I'll take her. Definitely.
I mean, maybe Danielle Harris.
No. I'll take Nev for sure.
Me too. I love Nev.
I mean, just specifically off the Scream series. I mean, you can't. Minxie cat. Very erotic.
Very erotic.
Although you never have those scenes with her.
You don't, and that's
which makes you want her more.
That is the damn thing, and they know what they're and I feel like that's kind of the point I was getting to earlier. That's why we don't see Danielle Harris.
Yeah, exactly.
You always want that. You always want her to be.
But anyway,
do we get tits in?
No,
we don't get tits in Hatchet 3, do we?
No. Just I
hate Hatchet 3. I hate Hatchet.
Just that one Danielle Harris scene. But yeah. Anyway,
that's shocking.
I know it is.
I didn't even think about that. But that is true. We see it in Hatchet 1. We see a lot in Hatchet 2.
Yeah, in Hatchet 3 you didn't. Because you only get really the one. Because it wasn't the close group.
Right, and it's more SWAT going in.
Yeah, SWAT team, first responders. It's a whole different feel of
and
a
you
movie.
get the shower scene, and that's it.
Yeah, exactly. Which that's definitely why he threw that in there.
Had to be, yeah.
Yeah. But great fucking movie. I know we got off topic a little bit, but at the same time, it was same topic because Victor Crowley needs to get his respect as far as all these other movies go. And a lot of people aren't going to like your comments about Freddy Krueger, which I'm excited about.
It's true, though.
Because I'm definitely going to clip that, and I'm putting that on social media because
it's fucking true.
I'm excited about that.
I would put him above a lot of slashers.
Yeah.
Maybe not Ghostface. I know that's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
Not Leatherface because that's a whole...
Yeah,
that's a whole nother thing too.
Yeah.
But...
No, I agree. I get what you're saying.
Freddy Krueger? I mean, I loved the original. I love the original Nightmare on Elm Street, and I love 3.
Yeah.
Dream Warriors.
Yeah, very good.
That's the best one for me.
Yeah.
And I know it's kind of cheesy at times, which is so fucking weird because I do like that one.
I know.
But it is cheesy. Yeah. But you get the black guy who's like,
oh, it's so good.
I'm going to get your ass. You know what I mean?
It's so good.
Come on, Freddy, I'm going to beat your fucking ass. All this shit, you know what I mean? But I love that aspect of it because they're just like, because it's a continuation.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? You're continuing on something.
But yeah, as far as Victor Crowley, put respect on his name. We got to wrap up now. We only got an hour for this episode, so we're going to wrap up. We appreciate you guys listening. This was Hatchet 3. Obviously, we got off topic a little bit, but it was much needed because we're putting Victor Crowley up there.
But we have to talk about the end.
Yeah, exactly.
Victor Crowley, at the end, the urn in his face.
Oh, yeah, of course. And he's supposedly gone.
He's dead, man.
But we
Just
we
like
do
Michael Myers.
We do have a Hatchet 4.
Wait, what?
Yes.
I've looked it up.
Victor
There's no.
Crowley.
It's called Victor Crowley. That's why I couldn't find anything on it.
To continue the Hatchet series, we'll do Victor Crowley, which is the 4th installment.
Yeah.
And of course, we'll do an episode before that, which we'll do another movie that we've been talking about, hopefully. And yeah. So great movie.
Do you think he's dead? Victor? Do you think Victor?
Yeah, I think he's dead. I
think he's dead too.
Just like every other slasher, he's dead.
I think he's dead too. When she's waiting for him to get back up after she smashes him with
and then you get that one breath, that last breath, which is a weird, Yeah. So we'll see where we go.
But we've seen Victor Crowley die before. That's the whole,
We'll see where we go though. But Hatchet 3. We appreciate you guys. We got a little off topic with other slashers, but we feel like it
needed to be done.
It needed to be done because you got to put respect on Victor Crowley's name, and we can put him against these other guys here. These
and we did. We did a bracket, and he was out in the first round.
He was out, which I don't think I wouldn't put him out in the first round. Well,
he was up against Leatherface.
Yeah, you get it.
If you put him against Freddy Krueger,
I just think I would seed him better, maybe.
How do you do that though?
But
because most people wouldn't.
If we're trying to go for the majority, then yeah. But if we're me and you, we're going to seed him a little bit different, right? Mm-hmm. And we appreciate you guys listening. We got to wrap it up a little bit quicker here, but we appreciate you guys joining in. Hatchet 3, Victor Crowley, a motherfucking just a juggernaut in the slasher community. Love him,
dude. He's the best.
We're gonna keep going with this in a few episodes. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube. If you're listening on the audio platforms, which are fucking over 1,000 downloads, murdering it. We appreciate you guys. Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Buzzsprout, all of them. You guys are fucking killing it. If you want video, go to YouTube, subscribe to the channel. We'll be there. Right. We'll be there waiting for you. We're still working on our short film Worm. We've put a teaser poster out. We're going to have a teaser trailer soon for you guys. We're recording some stuff soon that is very bloody. Mm-hmm. It's going to be awesome. So
there's going to be blood in this?
It's going to be good.
I thought it was all psychological.
Dude, we can't pull that off.
I thought everything was Nomad, dude.
Yeah, Nomad, man. So we appreciate you guys. We'll have that short film. We talk about it every episode. We just want to keep you guys updated on what we're doing and everything. So we appreciate you guys' support. And Matt, bring us out.
Cheers. May the power of Christ compel you ×2.
See you guys later.
Later.
Home of horror, the Home of Horror podcast. Home of horror, the Home of Horror podcast. Horror podcast. So that's your third Stephen King?
Don't start with me, dude.
I bet they spent less than $50,000 on that movie.
$252,000.
Oh wow, really? Home of